Okay, so since all of us are here already, let's start our afternoon session. So before that, I would like to ask for a volunteer to please lead our prayer for today. Amen. So once again, good afternoon, my dear students. By the way, I am Maria Liza. You may call me Mom Lai, and I would be your teacher for today. So let's have our attendance, and may I ask everyone to please comment your name on the income messages in order for me to monitor if you are present for today's discussion. So let's have a review of what did we discuss from the last time that we met. Excuse me. So may I have Kim to please tell me what did we discuss from the past meeting, or what did you discuss with your teacher or the reporters last week? Okay, last week we discussed about range. So what is range, class? Okay, very good. I believe that you already understand what is range. So let's proceed to our new topic for today. But before that, I would like to request everyone to please listen well as we go through with our discussion, since we will be having an activity in order for me to assess if you did understand what did I discuss, or what I am discussing here in front, or here at our meet for today. So mean deviation. So mean deviation, class, is the measures of the average deviation of the values from the arithmetic mean. It gives equal weight to the deviation of every score in the distribution. So to further understand what is mean deviation, class, I will introduce to you the formulas. And the first one would be mean deviation for ungrouped data. So this is the formula for the mean deviation for ungrouped data, where MD is the mean deviation value and is equal to the summation of the absolute value of the individual score minus the sample mean over n, which is the number of cases. So let's have an example. So before having that example, let's have these steps in order for you to be guided. So steps in solving the mean deviation for ungrouped data. Solve the mean value. You have to get the mean value first. Next, subtract the mean value from each score. Third, take the absolute value of the difference in step 2. And for the fourth is solve the mean deviation using the formula. So I've already introduced to you the meaning of the um, symbols on the formula a while ago. You just have to remember it, class. Okay, so let's have a review. The MD would be the mean deviation value. This is the mean, or the what we call as the individual score, minus the mean, or the mean value over the number of cases. So let's have this example in order for you to further understand what is the mean deviation for ungrouped data. So please read the example. Okay, let's have Luis. Okay, thank you for participating. That's find the mean deviation of the scores of 10 students in mathematics test given the scores 35, 30, 26, 24, 20, 18, 18, 16, 15, and 10. So here are the scores of the students where it represents the scores. So let's use the symbol, which is the X, since it represents the individual score of each student. So after putting it in here, the values or the scores, you have to get the total. You have to add it up and then divide it by the number of cases, which is 10. So where did we get the number 10? We need to count how many students, or from the given problem, we have 10 students in mathematics tests. So that's our n. So for the next table, so we use table class in order for us to have an organization, or in order for us to avoid confusion as we go through with the solving processes. So let's have this formula, x minus the mean value. So to solve for the mean value, we have the formula here. So the formula for the mean value is the total or the summation of the scores divided by the number of cases. So since we already get the total amount of the scores, we will then divide it to the number of cases, which is 10. So we'll get 21.2. So after getting 21.2, we have to subtract it from the scores, individual scores. So that's 35 minus 21.2, that's 13.8. 30 minus 21.2, that's 8.8. So 26 minus 21.2, that's 4.8, and so on and so forth. All you need to do is to subtract after you get the sample mean. Alright? Did you get it, class? Okay, very good. So after getting the values in here, you have to take the absolute value. So when we say absolute value, we get the positive or the positive result. So we see in here that there are negative signs. So as we go through the next table, we will have a positive values. So let's have, after getting the absolute value, we have to add them up and we'll get 60.4. How did we get 60.4? We are just going to add the values in here. After that, we have already the values needed for our formula. We will just have to substitute the values. So as I said a while ago, the formula for getting the ungrouped data would be MD is equal to the summation of the absolute value of the individual score minus the sample mean over the n. So our MD is equal to the summation, which is 60.4, over the number of cases, which is 10, will then get 6.04. So for the analysis, the mean deviation of the 10 score of students is 6.04. This means that on the average, the value deviated from the mean of 21.2 is 6.04. Do you get how we get, or how we are able to solve this problem, class? Okay, do you have any question? Okay, so you have questions about the second table. So in the third table, in the third column, just have to take the absolute value from here, class. And after getting, you have to add them all. After getting it, we will substitute it to the formula and divide it by 10. Do you understand? Any questions? Okay, very good. Let's proceed to the next type, which is mean deviation for group data. So this is another kind of formula. So another reminder, class, for this lesson, I would like you to please remember how, properly use the operation, because once you got mistake to a, for example, you got mistaken in here, so the rest of the table is already a mistake, since it will be used as you solve for the second table and for the third table, and we are going to substitute that on the formula. All you need to do is to be vigilant, to be careful on how you are going to add. Maybe you will forget some numbers. So that's it. So let's proceed to the next type, which is the mean deviation for group data. The formula would be mean deviation is equal to the summation of f times the absolute value of xm, which is the midpoint or the class mark, minus the mean value over n, which is the number of class. So we will not stay on this, because I know you wouldn't understand if we will not give any example. So let's have the steps in order for you to be guided. So the first thing that you need to do is to solve for the value of the mean. That's the thing that we did a while ago with ungroup data. But the thing is, in here we have different process again. So let's follow the second one, which is subtract the mean value from each midpoint or class mark. Number 3, take the absolute value of each difference. Number 4, multiply the absolute value and the corresponding class frequency. Number 5, find the sum of the result in step number 4. And number 6, solve for the mean deviation using the formula for group data. So let's have an example. I have in here a table. All you need to do is to carefully look at it. So you'll see that there are many values. So we will be having a hard time in here, but you have to be patient on solving the needed values as we go through with the formula. We need a table class so that we would not be, as I've said a while ago, that it will help us not to be confused with how we go through with the process. Okay. So for the first table, this is the classes. Okay, for the next one, the second column, that's the frequency. Frequency is how many times it occurs. Okay, so for the third table or third column, that's the midpoint or the class mark. So you are going to use this value as we solve the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th column. So for the first step, we have to get the mean value. So how to get the mean value, class? So in getting the mean value, you have to get first the product of f and xm, or the class mark. So all you need to do is to multiply. That's 5 times 12 equals 60. 2 times 17, that's 34. 3 times 22, that's 66. 5 times 27, that's 135. 2 times 32, that's 64. And 9 times 37 is 333, and so on and so forth. All you need to do is to multiply the frequency and the midpoint. And after getting the product, add them all. Get their sum. So 60 plus 34 plus 66 plus 35 plus 64 plus 333 plus 252 plus 141 plus 260, that's 1,345. After getting the summation of the frequency times the midpoint, all you need to do is to divide it by n, which is the number of cases, that's 40. So how did we get 40? We add the frequency. Did you get that? Okay. After getting that, let's substitute the values. That's the summation of f times the midpoint would be 1,344, and our n would be 40. So our mean value is 33.63. Since we already get the mean value, let's solve for the 5th column. So all we need to do is to subtract the midpoint or the mean value to the midpoint, So that's 12 minus 33.63, that's 21.63. 17 minus 33.63, that's negative 16.63. And 22 minus 33.63, that's negative 11.63, and so on and so forth. After getting the values in here, you have to take the absolute value, and these are all the equivalent values. And after getting that, you have to multiply this numbers in here to the frequency, and we'll get these results. So that's 5 times 21.63, that's 108.15. 2 times 16.63, that's 33.26. 3 times 11.63, that's 34.89, and so on and so forth. all you need to do after getting all the values in here, you have to add them all. Add them all. After getting the result, you need to substitute it to the formula. So the formula would be mean deviation is equal to the summation of f times the absolute value of midpoint minus the mean value over n, which is the number of cases. So the value of our summation of f times the absolute value of the midpoint minus the mean value is equal to 425.22. So we'll just substitute that in here. After that, our n is 40. So all we need to do is divide. Get the quotient of 425.22 divided by 40, and that's 10.63. Do you get that, class? Okay, very good. Let's have a quick review so that you'll remember how it is done. So the first thing that you need to do is to get the mean value. The second is you have to first solve. After getting the mean value, you have to solve for the third to the last column. And after getting the values, you need to substitute it to the formula and make sure that you get the right answers as you multiply, as you subtract, in order for you to not be mistaken along with the process. Because once you got mistake sa mean value pa lang, class, the rest of your answers are already wrong. Did you get that? So, for the analysis, the mean deviation of the 40 scores of students in 10.63. So, the mean deviation of the 40 scores of students in 10.63 rather, this means that on the average, the value deviated from the mean of 33.63 is 10.63. Do you get, class, how it is done, or the process of solving the grouped and ungrouped data? Okay, very good. Since you already understand how it is done, I have an activity in here and I would like you to answer it in 10 minutes. I'll be giving you at least 30 minutes to answer, and after that, you are going to pass your papers in order for me to check it. Are we good? Do you understand? Okay, very good. Since you already understand, so start answering now and remember the formulas that you need to use. Okay, time is up. It's already time, class. Kindly pass your answers to me through a Google form. I'll be providing a link later. I'll be sending that on our group chat. I would like you to put that in our link, and I'll be checking that. It will serve as your attendance for today. So without further ado, thank you so much for your cooperation and for your participation in our discussion for today. I'm glad that you interact with me, and I'm glad that you've also learned from me. So let's call it a day. Goodbye and thank you, class. Okay, goodbye. See you around.